Okay, folks, it's the Way Forward show. We're doing a little different today. We figured out how to get in the same room at the same time so that we can do the show. The Trump. Hey, where's our Trump Bible, bro? We got some on the shelf over there.
We need to get those sneakers in his Bible, just straight up.
I want some of those sneakers, bro.
Yeah. You know what? Listen to me. Abram said, "Man, Dad, you seen those sneakers? Are tight." And I said, "Only
They're
fundamental white people say that, bro." Nobody else has said those sneakers are tight. I said, "I'm gonna call Erskine right now and have him slap you upside your head." What you talking about?
Hey, I'll rock those.
Yeah,
For real.
Yeah, you would.
For real, I'm going out. Nobody has these shoes on the courts that I play on. Nobody has these shoes.
We could get you like
it's original, bro.
We could get you the shoes. We could get you like an American flag shirt, you know, and then some gold chains around your neck, and then that Bible. And he'd be like, "I'm here to talk about God and America."
America.
God in America.
Bro, that would have been so classic, man. I totally would have worn them. I was balling yesterday in Springfield, and I was at the Y. You know, a bunch of dudes were off yesterday, so we were up in that thing, man, playing shirts and skins, man. If I would have had a Trump shirt or some Trump shoes,
tight.
Man.
That would have been tight.
Man.
Everybody been looking at Erskine. Hey.
That's just how he is.
You're breaking my categories. What's going on here?
Something's wrong with him. Something's wrong.
I would have loved it. I would have showed up in like a Black Panther shirt. Hey, bro.
I don't know about
Malcolm
all that.
X. Malcolm X.
I don't know about all that, bro.
Come on.
So we're here with the Way Forward show, and we have culture commentary. Normally we're on two different screens in two different states in two dramatically different places: Nashville, Tennessee, Litchfield, Illinois. But since I was close enough this week, I decided I would just come by and we would set up the studio and just do the show
right
live for everybody. So it's the Way Forward show. We're going to be talking about the Trump Bible today. I'm going to go get one here in just a second. Don't you have one on your shelf over there?
Oh, I got several.
You got several. So
several.
Intro is coming. I'm going to go get a Trump Bible. Let's go.
Government officials insist that
All right, I have responsibilities here at the beginning of the show, and then we'll get started with this. We got to get in. All right, according to the Copyright Act of 1976. Well, Jason, why don't you read that?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what we've got here. According to the disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such.
You don't need to read all that. As long as it came up on the screen.
All right. Okay.
All right. So for all those who are watching on the various platforms out there, we have YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Rumble. And do you have a sound effect for that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They're laughing at us. We're the clowns of the internet.
They're all going to laugh at you.
Oh, man. And so as we get into this today, right, Reverend, it's Easter weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so Resurrection Sunday.
That's right.
Which is every Sunday.
I just told my wife that. She's like, "What are you going to do for Easter? I'm going to celebrate the resurrection." And she's like, "What do you next week? We celebrate the resurrection." So we do every Sunday. We celebrate the resurrection.
Yeah. It's that Christianity thing that's kind of very important there, without which you have no Christianity.
No, nothing. We have nothing. He's still in the grave. We're in trouble.
Yeah, we have no hope.
We are still in trouble.
We are bringing hope.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, you got your text. You're ready. Your sermon. You're ready.
I'm actually doing something a little different. I've been in Matthew, and I've been loving Matthew.
Okay.
It's been amazing. And then we're in the Sermon on the Mount, and so I really didn't want to take off from that, but
you just gonna keep rolling.
But it is.
Okay, I was gonna say
it is Easter, and
I was trying to find somebody out there. Let me find some. I know there's some joker out there. Who wants to try to be novel and try to preach from Zephaniah.
Yeah, no.
Tomorrow, he's coming from Nehemiah.
No, I'm actually going to do 3 declarations that the resurrection tells us. Three declarations of the resurrection, of the sonship of Jesus, the lordship of Jesus, and death has no power over you.
Okay.
So
hey, you guys show up at Litchfield First Baptist Church and
learn about the resurrection.
You will learn the resurrection. Actually, you show up anywhere tomorrow, you're gonna hear about the resurrection.
That's right.
You should. But I know there's gonna be some joker out there. You think Mike Todd? What do you think Mike Todd's gonna be doing tomorrow? Acting silly.
Oh my gosh.
Verdict's not gonna be talking about the blood.
No, no, that's offensive.
That probably offended verdict me saying the blood.
Yeah, right. Mike, see, he's gonna probably be Jesus Christ Superstar. Is that what's next on the
I don't
list?
know what he's doing, but I know we're probably going to be talking about it because he will make some
It
headlines.
makes him crazy.
Because somebody's going to do something out there that they're going to be out of pocket, not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
All right, brother, you want to lead us in prayer so we can get to this Trump Bible stuff? Because I know there's a lot of Christian nationalists who are tuning in, a lot of flat earthers, and a lot of preppers who are watching this today, wondering what it is that we're going to say.
Yeah. Father in heaven, we thank you so much for wisdom. And we thank you for your word. And we thank you that despite our foolishness, Lord, your word will prosper. It will not return void. It'll go forth and do as you call it to do. And we're thankful, Lord, that Jesus is on the throne. He is resurrected. He's out of the grave. He's alive and well, and he's coming back to end all this foolishness at some point. But let us be faithful until then and help Erskine and I to provide helpful, wise, careful words for the church and way forward. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, our top story for today, we're going to be talking about the Trump Study Bible.
Trump study.
Here we go. Let's just roll right out of the box with this.
Yeah.
Bible is the King James Version and also includes our founding father documents. Yes, the Constitution, which I'm fighting for every single day, very hard, to keep Americans protected. Also, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance are all part of this. God bless the USA Bible, and it's just very important and very important to me. I want to have a lot of people have it. You have to have it for your heart, for your soul. Many of you have never read them and don't know the liberties and rights you have as Americans and how you
I'll let it go through first, and then let's go through it.
Yeah.
to lose those rights. It's
I'll
happening
stop
all the
here.
time. It's a very sad thing that's going on in our country, but we're going to get it turned around. Religion and Christianity are the biggest things missing from this country, and I truly believe that we need to bring them back, and we have to bring them back fast. I think it's one of the biggest problems we have. That's why our country is going haywire. We've lost religion in our country.
There we go. Why does StreamYard market to me? I already have StreamYard.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Keep that joint off of there. All right, Jason. There's a lot there. And I'll pull it up again so that we can see that again. But off the top, anything you want to bring to the show with regards to the Trump Bible?
Hey, God bless him. He's preaching the word. He's literally he's probably handing out more Bibles than the church is handing out Bibles.
Dang. You don't have to be so savage at the start of the show. There's a lot of churches out there that ain't handed out a Bible
That's
in
crazy.
years. Trump is getting more people baptized and reading
That's
the Bible.
Trump is actually handing out the word of God more than the church is.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh no.
Attendance is going to be down tomorrow.
He didn't just go there from the start of the show. We do have a format. We are going to talk about this. We are going to dissect some things here, and we are going to eventually get to a way forward for the church here. But we got comments that are already coming in, and
oh goodness, I bet.
I don't know if you know this person, but you need to talk to him and tell him.
Oh, can you bring what Christianity and religion together? Okay, yeah. So why? Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. How about this? Why does Trump pitching his Bible make you and I flinch or cringe? Like why? Because we talked about this a little bit earlier. Abraham Lincoln's got a Bible, right?
In fact, I was in Springfield this week, and there's a Abraham Lincoln devotion.
Yeah.
And from what I understand from the life of Abraham Lincoln, he was not necessarily
He's got some things.
rocking with the Lord.
Yeah, he's got some things.
He wasn't rocking with the Lord like that. So I'm looking on the shelf at his devotion. I'm like, it is beautifully bound.
Yeah.
It is wonderfully illustrated there. But what in the world would he be devotionalizing for us? He had some wise sayings,
Right.
And he led at a very critical time in the United States history.
With a few seances at the White House and a few things like that.
Come on now.
Let's see.
Next we're gonna be talking about Martin Luther King.
He's got some things.
There's some things.
He's got some things.
There's some things.
There are other presidents who have. I hate to say, Jefferson had a Bible ish.
He had parts of a Bible,
right? So it's not unprecedented that a president
and their association with the Bible
have an association with the Bible. Don't we want our presidents to have a Bible? I mean, he's got the Lord's version. I mean,
the commander and priest.
The commander and priest. He's so I guess, on one side of it, somebody might be saying, like, why are you busting this guy's chops when, we actually have a president who's willing to pitch the Bible. Like most, I don't know, when was the last president we had? Was it Reagan that maybe had that was willing to pitch the Bible? Like, hey, we need
very pro-life.
Yeah.
He's appeared March for Life.
Yeah.
He's spoken on various stages. I actually heard him about a month or so ago at the National Religious Broadcasters. He was there. There.
Yeah.
He came to speak. He cared for all of those people who were religious broadcasters.
Yeah.
He wanted them to know that his care for them and his love. I got to get one of these Trump Bibles. You have one on your shelf. I think I saw one back there.
It was gifted to me.
I feel like I need to hold it next to my heart when I do this show. I feel like that's the kind of church that I'm at.
Let's see.
And so you asked a question that we've not yet answered, but it is, why does this make us cringe when we look at this?
Wait a minute. We're not the only ones, though, right? Don't you have a piece of a video of somebody else kind of like,
oh yeah, that was Allie Beth Stuckey on her show.
Yeah. We're not the only ones. You're like, and I don't listen to her, but you said she's quite conservative, right?
Yeah, I like Allie Beth Stuckey. I think anything I can do, she can do better.
Okay.
I watch her show with a little bit of jealousy, and I watch her show, and I think everything that she does is everything I want to do.
Right.
But everything she does is better than anything that I've ever done. So.
Yeah. Okay. So, and she even had a, there could be worse things that he's selling.
Yeah.
Like sneakers.
Yeah. And so I'm curious about this today, Jason. There is maybe even in the comment section, and the comment section is turned on, I should tell you guys that. But there is even in the comment section a little bit of, where do we get this from? Like, where is this coming from? I feel like there's something that's going on. I'm going to double down on this, and I probably need to do my show sooner than later. But as we get farther into the political season, I'm going to come out with a very hard slant against Trump.
No.
I know it's hard to believe.
No.
It's hard to believe. But I feel like if I don't say it, whenever it happens, and I'm going to define in my show later on what it is.
Say, what is the it's about to happen?
It's going to happen.
Okay.
But whenever it happens, when I do this show, people will look at me and they will say, Erskine, you've just lost your mind.
You're done.
You're one of the black liberals, woke, diversity, equity, inclusion, giving yourselves over to the Democratic Party, all the different things that I'm poised to be able to hear. And I'll take that smoke. I'll take that until it happens.
Yeah.
And then we begin to see. We almost saw it, though, Jason. We almost saw it on January 6th.
Oh, no. I just had a conversation about that with a couple of friends of mine who are very not for Trump.
We almost saw it.
And
when he was holding the Bible up and he was campaigning.
And he was telling them to be peaceful. So, anyways, the Bible, right? So why does it make us cringe? You know what? Okay, so when I saw this, and the first thought I had in mind, do you remember that speech he did at Liberty? And he tells hey, I want to quote 2 Corinthians. I want to quote 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians is a great verse for America. It's going to make us great. 2 Corinthians. And every Christian is looking at him like, did somebody tell him that we usually don't say 2 Corinthians?
That's like when Ted Cruz was in Indiana one time and he said, the basketball ring.
Yes.
You mean the goal, the hoop?
The hoop? Like, what you talking about?
You could have used a lot of terms, but when you talk about people putting in the basketball ring, you instantly lost credibility with people in Indiana.
And listen, Trump is the only one. Was it Biden who said psalms? Who said the psalms? They were all looking at you like, the P is silent, bro. The P is silent.
But he has religious advisors.
Somebody has got to be telling.
Paula White.
Oh,
should
yeah,
have,
that's right.
Paula White should have advised him that P is silent. Psalms.
Psalms.
Well, see, that was Trump's advisor.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
wasn't Biden.
But
Biden
Paula White should have said, second. But he probably would have told her to be quiet, know her place.
Robert Jeffers. Maybe Russell Moore could have told him.
Russie
would have told him.
I'm telling you, Russ would have told him. Talking about somebody who's taking some heat, man.
Yeah, Russie would have told him.
Russ would have said, look, bro, listen. And he'd have said it like that, too.
Yeah, exactly. Nasty man. Such a nasty man.
He's such a nasty, Russ Moore. Oh, you're hitting all the names, dude. Like you're gonna be so canceled from the conservative group. I
haven't done my thing yet because
listen.
I want to give a thoughtful, substantive reason why Christians should be very leery of Donald Trump.
We're getting there. Because we're dropping people who have criticized the president. Okay, like Russ Moore. I'm a big fan of Russ Moore.
Something happens to me, guys, you'll know it was because of this broadcast.
I had Russ Moore for my systematic theology at Southern, and it was phenomenal. It was that man is bright, godly.
You do a compliment like that right before you do something else.
No. Well, okay.
I see. You see what he just did. No. He is the brightest, most intelligent person I've ever worked with, and he's an idiot.
Yeah, no. I honestly thought Russ Moore was in line to replace Dr. Moeller whenever Dr. Moeller decides to move on, which I think actually Dr. Moeller is going to just die in the chair because I think he's very committed that way. But when the ERLC thing came up, I thought, no, that's perfect. That's perfect because Dr. Moore is extremely politically savvy, and he's very theologically astute. I mean, he is not a liberal theologically, without doubt. He is not a liberal. Period.
Oh, you'd have many conservatives.
I know.
Who would question you?
I know.
Question you.
I know the man, and I know his theology. He's not, and he is a phenomenal preacher. Okay, he's a phenomenal preacher. Now his view of government might be a little more of the classic liberal, and he might sometimes use hyperbole a bit strong. But I mean, this brother he's one of us. He's solid. So when he got lambasted by the SBC, I just thought, dude, you guys are going nuts because Dr. Moore is actually quite phenomenal. Now he's gotten over to Christianity Today, and I haven't seen too much of a change, but I do feel like he's feeling the brunt of that. It's settled down, like that breakup has settled down, and if you run into an old girlfriend in Walmart and you're like, oh, this is still odd. I haven't had that happen in a long time, but I hear people talk about it. And that's what I feel like when he talks about, hey, he's confronted with the SBC. It's like, it's been kind of a bad breakup. So I see some of that. But anyways, he was somebody who was criticizing Trump's character, specifically his character. And if Trump has had problems, it's with the character issues that we see as a Christian. So here you have a man holding up a Bible and saying, we need religion, we need Christianity, we need this ethic right here. We need this character.
This is the Trump Bible, right. By the way. This is the Trump Bible. I think there's about a 10-second delay. But no, it's not.
Oh my gosh. I mean, like, that is so awesome if you did that.
I had him. But this is a nice Bible, though.
Yes. So here you have a man who's setting up, hey, we need these ethics, we need these morals, we need this character. We need to be living the Sermon on the Mount that Jesus preaches. We need that. And then you're looking at him saying, that's a bit suspect.
Yeah, there's a lack of credibility there.
Right.
We talked about that with the shoes.
Right.
Nobody's hooping in those shoes. Nobody's even wearing those shoes.
That's right.
It's just clearly to pander to black voters.
Right.
And a cultural constituency that you need, that you feel like you can flip or turn for political purposes.
So we're looking at this contrast and saying, here's a man. So when you look at a president, right? Don't we look at a grid? So we look at, like, is he the foreign policy? Is he pretty solid? Can he do economics? Can he get the economy going? Is he a statesman? Is he a diplomat? So when we look at a president, we have, I don't know, 4 or 5 different lenses we look at him.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can grade him on these things, right? And so you can grade him on his foreign policy and say, yeah, I mean, it's an A. When he calls, people pick up.
Yep.
Countries respond.
Yes.
He's a businessman. He knows how to get the economy going. Economy was pretty solid when he was in office, and he got that going. That's great. But when it comes to being a statesman, let's see, you fail. Like he cannot communicate well with these values and these ethics that match his personal life and his what's like on Twitter.
Yeah,
like
and that's probably one of my bigger things with Trump is if you look at the competencies and the job skill, does the economy get better? Do businesses begin to thrive and flourish? Right. Are we communicating in certain ways where there's been sort of a traditional breakdown in the spheres of government? Yes, we're communicating in some of those ways. Is he doing things that seem to be in the best interest for the American people? Yes. And it relates to foreign policy and some of the foreign business ethics. Yes, all those things. But you and I, we both teach our kids this.
Right.
And we tell people this all the time. Your character matters.
It's massive.
And it may not necessarily come out immediately in the competencies of any particular job skill, but it will come out at a certain point. And so I would rather Trump say, you know what? I don't really have that many interactions with black people. I don't really hang out with y'all very much. I don't really know what y'all do, except I know that you guys want to have a better economy, better families, and I think I can get that done for you. Look at the economy with me, without me. And so you might as well go ahead and vote for me because you keep voting for these whack Democratic leaders that are out there, and look what they've done for your communities, look how impoverished they are, and look at what the kind of changes is that I would make and have made as a result of being a president. I don't really rock with y'all, like, Hispanic people, like I'm trying to get rid of illegal aliens in our country and everything, but I just talk big and everything. But
I love tacos.
Yeah, but
I love tacos.
So just this nonsensical pandering to people.
Right.
It's just like, and I hate to use this expression, but I'm gonna go ahead and use this expression because I'm already canceled.
Yeah, right.
But it's just like somebody pissing in your face and telling you it's raining.
Oh,
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I know that this is not rain. I know that this is not what this is.
Yeah.
But you keep trying to convince me that this is what this is.
Right.
And Trump is that guy to me who is doing a bunch of things like, I know you don't read the Bible. I know you don't really
He don't
care.
bust up in 2 Corinthians.
Because even when I listen to Trump, are you watching this right now? You need to pay very close attention to this, Trump. And I'm talking to you. even when I heard you, sir. No, all the rest of y'all get out of the way. We've got 8 or 9 people watching right now. The rest of y'all get out of the way. Move. I'm not pointing at you. I'm pointing at Trump. Trump. When you were speaking at the NRB last month, your only references to Christianity were what Robert Jeffress had to say about you. You couldn't give your own credible Christian testimony in a group of people who were religious people. You had to verify your religion based on what Robert Jeffress had to say about you. Jason, if I ever get a microphone and ever get asked to give a testimony about what we believe about Jesus, you better not reference me.
That's right.
And
Erskine says this.
And I'm sure not as heck going to reference you and say, well, Jason said that I'm a follower of Jesus, and so therefore you should believe that I'm a follower.
Yeah.
No, we're coming with our own bars.
Yeah. So here's the issue. Is it really on Trump, though? Because this homeboy is just following the lead. Like, look at how he spoke. So we're saying to Trump, listen, we are questioning your character and we're questioning your commitment to Christ by what we see and what we hear. Because Jesus says, you know a tree by its fruit. So I'm not judging you to hell. I'm not judging you to be this or that. I'm literally watching your life and I'm saying, okay, look, do you bear fruit? In his own speech right here, this 59-second clip that we watched, does he talk like a Christian?
You asked it. That's a detrimental question, my friend.
I mean, honestly, if the church would stop and listen for a second, does this man talk like a spirit-empowered, Bible-believing, God-honoring, Christ-loving, missions-minded, political figure who's led by Jesus? Does he talk like that?
Who's the Speaker of the House? Mike Johnson?
That sounds right. The guy from Louisiana.
It seems that his ability to bring together his heart for Christ and his political office are not in conflict with one another.
Yeah.
He talks like somebody that I think he has a brand of Christianity that I think I can understand in the way that he speaks about his responsibilities.
I think that's what drew us to Tim Scott.
Yes.
Right? Because Tim Scott kind of did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there were certain lines Tim Scott would not cross. I mean, just character. And Tim Scott's taking a beating right now because he's kind of warmed up to Trump a little bit. But
they all do that.
Right? So we're like, oh, wow. But anyways, that's kind of
I'm not doing that.
I know. But you're kind of getting this. We get around people. Hey, wait a minute. I think you know Jesus. By the way, by what I'm picking up,
my spirit does bear witness.
That's right.
Yes,
that's right. So,
and I already know the comment section. Y'all can fill it up if y'all want to. That helps people know that this is an awesome discussion that we're having.
That's right.
But people who are going to say we don't need him to be the commander and priest. We just need him to be the commander in chief.
And I understand, again, that goes to that grid of saying, is he a foreign policy? Can he do domestic policy? Can he do the economy? I get all that, and I can give him high marks for that. But again, the problem I have with him is that character matters. If his character is really deeply flawed, I mean, to the point where he's doing this stuff,
it is,
okay, then you're not safe. Christians are not safe either. This dude gets into office and you start to see like true colors come out and you realize, but this is not the man I voted for, because you
will see. Right.
And then if you read the Bible and you watch these leaders who were half in and half out, or they were, what does the Bible say? The things that I hate a liar, somebody, a hypocrite, right? One who professes one thing, but is something else. How many times does God say that in the scriptures, in the Proverbs, and Jesus confronts it inside? I don't like hypocrisy. Mm-hmm. He hates that kind of stuff. And what we're getting here is somebody who's saying one thing, but he's believing something else. And now he's going to be in charge of nuclear weapons. He's going to be in charge of he's the nation's character. I mean, he's the nation's character, right? So that's the stuff that I'm looking at selling my kids, saying you can't follow a man like that.
I can't play the video because you asked me a question that I'm still reeling from.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, there's that which happens to us.
Yeah.
That somebody else is responsible for. And then there's that which we allow to happen ourselves.
Okay.
And then promote.
Okay.
Somebody breaks into your house.
Yeah.
You didn't want them there.
Nope.
You tried to stop them from coming in there. There was a defense. There was a vigilance, and yet they broke past those walls.
Right.
Okay, we recognize there's criminality involved in that.
Well, we used to.
You're in Illinois.
We used to.
Work that out in your own judicial system. But when you open the front door,
and you say, come on in.
And the criminal is out there.
Yeah.
And you're looking at the character of the criminal, and you say, well, not very good character. There's some red flags there.
Yeah. Who am I to judge, though? I mean, come on in and
come on in.
Rape and pillage my family.
Here's the table.
Yeah.
I'm going to put everything out there for you. You want access to what you want to do?
Now, that does sound like Illinois' lost. Good. That's good.
And so that Christians have knowingly allowed this to become part of the religious conversation to the point now where we have the Christian nationalism discussion.
Okay.
A very large discussion.
So pay attention, Erskine, to who he's appealing to. I mean, the KJV. Let's just start there.
They're going to be older.
Who's he going after? Yeah, with the KJV. I mean, listen.
They're going to be older and predominantly white.
I should qualify.
Just predominantly white.
Let me qualify. The KJV served the church for 380 years as a wonderful translation for the Bible that got the gospel done. So I respect it for that much. However, the KJV
is ESV. Sorry.
The KJV is a translation that served its purpose, but by the grace of God, we have really grown to understand language, Greek and Hebrew and all that. There's also a belief inside some of the KJV church. I mean, I literally just watched a video this morning of a guy saying that I can take the KJV to the Greek and correct the Greek. And that's from the pulpit. He said this. Mm-hmm. That's ludicrous. That's crazy.
Because the arrogance of KJV only people,
Yes,
is about the same as the arrogance of flat earthers.
yeah, yes, it's crazy.
And about the arrogance of the people who are preppers.
Yeah,
and about the arrogance. Should I keep going on all
I-
the conservative?
there's there's an arrogance there that and naiveness and arrogance. It's really bad. Okay, but he is appealing to these KJV group. Now, I just want you to think about the circles we roll in. We're evangelical. We're reformed. Now, again, we're not your typical reform because even those people don't like
We're
us.
little Eva.
Yeah.
If there's a big
yeah,
Eva,
all right. They don't
if
they don't
there's
like
a big
us either.
Eva out there, then we're little. We're a tiny.
Yeah.
Eva.
And so the people I roll with and talk to, we don't necessarily read from the KJV. I have a few people in my church who do, but most of them are reading the ESV Christian Standard or the New King James or something like that.
No TNIV.
No, not really. The pastors I roll with and talk to, I don't think any of them are reading or preaching from the KJV.
No NASB guys.
Yeah, no. I think Dave for a while preached from the NASB guy.
NASB guy.
So, anyways, the KJV has got a different feel. Around here, I would assess if he's talking to KJVers, it's your fundamental or charismatic or fundamental charismatic, right? That is a particular group of people, and this particular group of people will I gotta be careful here. They will be.
You get a salary based on you being a pastor.
Yeah, I got to be careful here because I don't want to be overcritical, but at the same time, I need to define that there is some real struggles inside of that movement by itself. Just understanding discernment, I think. For instance, my wife was approached by a lady of the charismatic fundamental type, and they were having conversations about politics. And I think she asked my wife if she supported Trump, and my wife was like, "No, not really. We're look a little different." And this lady literally said, she's like, "That's weird because I thought all Christians supported Trump." And to the point where my wife felt like the conversation went towards, well, how can you be Christian and not support Trump?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those folks are watching today.
Yeah.
And they will watch this show today.
So
and they're wondering whether or not we're Christians.
Yes.
They're wondering whether or not we're Christians
Yes.
the same way we're wondering if Trump is a Christian, which I think is completely ironic.
Right.
That they will watch this and they will say, you criticize Trump, so therefore you may not be a Christian. You see a problem there.
That is really, that's not hyperbole. That's not over exaggeration. That is something that like Stacy has encountered.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are people who have left the church, our church, because though I'm not very political in the pulpit, they definitely get the sense I'm not a big Trump supporter. Mm-hmm. I'm not a Joe Biden supporter either. By the way, I think that man's off his rocker.
Well, I leave Joe Biden alone because he needs to be in a nursing home.
I think he's sick. But anyways, because I'm not for this, then they start to question my credentials as a pastor, as a Christian. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he knows who he's appealing to. I mean, these are hardliners. Now, I think there are other people I've heard who will say things like, well, I have to turn my nose up when I vote for him. I guess they're out there, and I'm not quite sure how they feel about the Bible.
They feel like a lot of people feel in this country, that they're backed into a corner where there's two bad options,
right?
And they're going to choose the lesser of the two.
The rise of the two evils.
Correct me if I'm wrong out there. If you're one of those people that's just like, hey, we're not rocking with everything, and we kind of agree with some of the things that you guys are saying, but at the same time, what's the alternative to this?
Right. Yeah. What are you going to do? Because we have to get. They're so scared of the progressive agenda, when you rightfully should be, because it is socialist and it is bad. It's really bad. Do
you? And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I did interrupt you for a purpose here. It is, and I think that we would say almost in lockstep, that the progressive agenda is so bad and it's so destructive to our country, but perhaps that's what our country needs to come full circle to the idea and the understanding that it's not in these political values, but it's in the spiritual, the actual true spiritual values that change can be made in America. It's almost like, Jason, there's probably a lot of people that you minister to that they're just bopping along through life.
Yeah.
And then life smacks them and it knocks them dead on their rear end.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they got to have a come to Jesus meeting.
Right.
There's some clarity, there's some focus that happens.
Yeah.
But that typically doesn't happen as long as people are just kind of rocking along.
But isn't that the case of Israel, though? I mean, Israel bops along in life, gets very comfortable, very complacent, succumbs to idolatry, and which G.K. Beale has a wonderful book by "You Become What You Revere." Like
Okay.
and he'll make the argument you
G.K.
actually
Beale. I hadn't heard that name in a while.
you become that. Like so, when God describes Israel as the stiff-necked cow, he refers it's referring back to the calf because that's what they become. They become that.
Yes.
We are becoming what we worship, and only until when God brings the boom that you get that wake up that hey, wait a minute, there's no life here, and you realize, oh, I've been sick and dying. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about coming full back into this place where God has to bring this kind of, hey, the Romans 1 thing. I'm going to give you what you think what you are. I'm going to let you turn into what you are, and you're going to see just how bad this is.
Yeah. So in a sense, all I'm simply saying is it might be better for
Right.
the cause of Christ that we have.
Yeah. And I think you just sealed it right there. Your career's done.
Yeah.
No more evangelical churches for you.
Goodbye.
Because what he's trying to do is
it was nice knowing you guys.
hey, make America great again is the revival that we're looking for. You know, but God's not done with this nation. He's going to bring it back, and he's this and that. And okay, what we're most concerned about is advancing God's kingdom. So you put the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all that in the front of that Bible. I mean, whose kingdom's coming first here?
I think he maybe has it in the back.
Does he have it in the back?
I don't know. We don't have a copy of it, but I think he said it's in the back.
So one of you Christian nationalists should gift us a copy of it.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we can do with this platform.
Right?
We have the ability to ask all you good Christian nationalists, send it to First Baptist Church, Litchfield.
Oh my gosh.
2 copies. Why not 10 copies? Why are we asking for such small things? We have not because we asked not. Can we get 10 copies, a case, if you would, of the Trump, I Love America, whatever it's called, Bible, to First Baptist Litchfield. I don't know if you want to. I don't know if you give the addresses.
Oh my
give
gosh.
a hate mail.
Let me ask this though. There's 2 things I'm curious about. One, what do you think happens? Because you talk about the it, right? The it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
I think it is going to be broad because I'm curious. Let's say Trump gets reelected, right? And he is now a lame duck president for when you're lame duck president for the next 4 years, and he decides to his character is really revealed, like who he is, and it's really contrary to the scriptures. I mean, really contrary. What do you think that is? And what do you think are the implications of it being tied to his Bible for the church? Because you never remember now. I mean, progressives are all over this, right? The New York Times and the AP Press, they're all pitching that, hey, Trump is trying to sell Bibles to pay for his legal fees.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Which, I mean, I don't know, maybe.
Bible, shoes, I mean,
right?
anything else.
He's just trying to make, he's got like $6 billion or something. So, I mean, he can pay his fines, but he wants that money back. You know, and he feels like it's unjustly being taken from him. And that's a whole other discussion. Yeah. Because I will be fair to Trump. I think that whole thing's a sham. The whole thing's a sham. And
I would even go along with some of that.
Yeah,
and just say that anybody should be able to see that they're just throwing things.
They're
constantly
trying to bankrupt him, and it really is a discredit to our justice system about how bad this is. But that's a conversation somewhere else.
That's a different conversation. I'll even go with you on that one.
What is the implications you think for the church that if he gets elected and his true character comes out and that character does not line up with the Bible? What do you think happens to us,
bro?
What do you think happens? You know,
I'm not going to expose anybody that's out there by name.
Okay.
But I have friends, and I do consider them to be friends.
Okay.
I do have friends who believe prophetically that Trump is the guy that God has decided will take America to revival. And so they have tied and keyed
I've heard these people online.
Their allegiance
to
Trump in such a way that if you are not supporting Trump, you are not supporting God, because as clearly as the revelation that we've seen that brings revival back to our country. And to resist this is to resist God.
Yeah. Okay. So
I didn't say that.
I know.
You were backing away
No,
from me like,
no.
You backed away like,
No.
oh,
We're good.
whoa. This is not me.
Okay, so think
but
about.
I have heard this from some of my friends.
I have heard online people talk like this.
I have friends.
Okay. So now he gets in there, and I mean, he is not say the man. Sure, I mean he gets our economy going, and sure he does those things. But I mean the character is just flagrantly not.
Or the divisiveness.
Or or the constant. I mean we to the brink of civil war type stuff, right? Because people say, "Oh, that's nonsense." It's not nonsense. It is insanely closer than we think, because people are getting really to the point where they're hating their brothers.
Okay.
So the implication for the church then is,
well, that's what we do this show for.
Well, you okay?
Are we landing the plane now? We're only at 40 minutes. We still got another 20
No.
minutes.
No. I'm curious because the implications of his actions being so tied. He's having a Bible,
Well, yeah,
and he's saying that this is my Bible. Really, I mean that's what he's pitching is, this is my Bible, the USA Bible. I'm selling it to you for $60. Which, okay, on a side note, by the way, as we talked about, he's not a theologian, but other people have pitched Bibles. I mean, there's the Schofield Bible. There's the John MacArthur Study Bible. There's so it's not like it's unprecedented there, right? So he's pitching his Bible, and his Bible is the USA, God bless the USA Bible. And we need to get some religion and Christianity back into our country because we need it really bad. The religion and Christianity that we're assuming he's going to follow. And what's crazy, if you really knew these kind of charismatic fundamentalists, I mean, they've got some pretty tight boundaries on some things. He gets in office. He's not towing the line that way. Do you turn the other cheek? Them. Two, does the church lose credibility? Does it ignite persecution against the church?
I'm not going to do what I'm criticizing other people of doing, which is looking into the crystal ball of prophecy and saying, well, these are the things that are...
Well, no, but look back in the past and seeing where leaders have neglected their character using the church or Christianity, and what has the effects been on the church?
Yeah. So, I mean, my initial thought behind all of that was to say, well, it doesn't help at that point to say, see, I told you so. I told you that this was going to happen. Right. I'm just going to go ahead and say it at the beginning so that I can say with a good heart and a good conscience toward all my fellow Americans who are watching this, that I've been telling you this all along. I have been telling you this all along.
We're the voice.
Oh, okay. I don't want to get you in trouble though.
I'm sitting right next to you in my office.
I know, but you can disagree with me vehemently. Like if we were talking about January 6th, I think we'd talk about that in two different ways.
We would. I don't see that as insurrection. You see it as that's the conversation I was having with my friends. I mean, they're like, it's insurrection, and I hear you. I feel what you're saying.
We define the term. So I'm trying to give you space for people to watch this.
I understand.
And be able to say, well, Jason was there with him, but the black guy's a crazy one.
Hey, listen, we are the Oreo of this. You understand? We are the coffee of with the cream and the sugar. There's no separating this. Birds of a feather flock together. So
I'm thinking about that discussion we had off camera.
Chocolate. That's right. Yes. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to give you space, but
I
if you want
understand.
to be, if you want that smoke as well, like I don't want hate mail sent to your church. I don't want any of those kind of things. I don't want anything bad to happen to you.
Yeah.
Because I'm crazy.
I'm in Walmart and the 11th guy watched it and said, "I saw you online."
But no, I would double down. I'm going to double down before I start. I'm going to double down throughout the process, and then even by chance, if he gets elected and he becomes the president. The day one of him being president, I will still be doubling down. Yeah. And people will just say, man, you're a broken record. You're wrong. You're a false prophet, all these different things. And then when it happens, you're going to say, he wasn't as...
I don't think you have to worry about it because the election's corrupt anyway. So we're all good.
Oh, yeah.
Joe's got another 4 years.
Which corrupt...
Joe's got...
Look. That's another thing for another day. I'm not getting into conspiracy theories with you because you and aliens and UFOs.
Hey, you laugh.
All the things.
You laugh.
I laugh. I laugh because I watched some of those Senate hearings. The biggest bunch of nonsense and waste of time that I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. Anywho, I think the irony of it is the one who's supposed to be behind the church, appealing church, is actually going to be the one who hurts the church. The church isn't going to go away. Jesus is going.
Church will be just fine.
The church is going to be just fine. Now, we may be uncomfortable, and we may have to deal with some things that we don't like, and it's going to be that. Listen, church, I'm going to tell you right now, the way forward is persecution. You're going to have to accept the reality that we are going to be persecuted, and we are going to be not liked.
That's
it. And the language is growing more hostile, and the fact that former President Trump has now endorsed this Bible, he is literally trying to remarry Christianity to the conservative political party, which is a bad idea. It got us in trouble the first time. It's going to get us in trouble again. And he's having the church support it. Some of the evangelical church support it. And it's sending a loud enough message to the rest of America that Christians are going to get this guy elected, or the Christians are going to be behind this whole thing. And I just don't think that that's going to be the way forward for the church.
Yeah. So that was the second part of your question. I did
Right.
want to speak to that, is that because I live in a totally different place. You're in a conservative area. I'm in a very
moderately conservative, yes.
Yeah, I'm in a very non-conservative area
Mhm.
in East Nashville, in Nashville, Tennessee. And so I can imagine that the response is, "This is your guy? This is your thing?
Yeah.
This you."
Yeah.
And it's such a low bar of Christianity
Yeah.
that people would look at and they would associate, by association,
Yeah.
this is what Christianity is. This is what Christianity does. And it doesn't have the hallmarks of Christianity at all. What you just talked about, suffering, persecution, endurance, perseverance, all those different things, those are the hallmarks in the character of Christianity. What is being positioned now is, let's vie for power, and let's figure out how we can align ourselves with the power and the key movers, because we don't obviously have enough energy. We obviously don't have enough gravitas in our own spiritual proclamations, and with those things to be able to move the needle in our country, we have to align ourselves with people of power to be able to move the needle. And the last time I checked, there's no great revival that has started with that sort of momentum.
It didn't. It starts small, doesn't it? The Haystack Revival, 5 guys praying in a barn. The Great Awakening, the Second Great Awakening. It's small seeds that die in the ground that sprout to bigger things. It's not through the government. Revival's not going to come by electing a president.
Or even popular people. Like,
Yeah.
I have been pretty vocal about Kanye. And since
we had to drop that brother.
Yeah, of course. Right. Of course. I've talked about Katy Perry recently.
Yeah.
I've talked about Kanye recently. Like, he's got issues with Jesus.
He's got some stuff.
But
He's got some things.
I think maybe if he could go, that's not going to age well.
No.
But I think if he could go back and maybe see that one and rewind, he might say after watching that Jesus has some issues with what he said.
Yeah.
But I say all that simply to say that the big rage and phenomenon in Christianity was, let's get on the Kanye train. He's going to be a popular person who's going to help usher in more and more people to the kingdom of God. Now we have a figure that is respected out there by people.
Yep.
And now people can begin to follow Christianity. Because Christianity has a cool face or a popular face or a money person that's in there that people can relate to. And so therefore, you guys recognize, if you're conservative and you're watching this today, that Trump is not conservative.
No, he's moderate at best. He's
moderately conservative.
Yeah.
So whatever happens to the true conservatives that are out there? I voted for the Constitutional Party 2 times.
Yeah.
And I thought, wait a minute, the Constitutional Party is not even talking about the things they ought to be talking about. What is going on here?
I think the push for globalism is so strong. It doesn't matter what president we put in there. It's happening. Okay. So without sounding like one of those end times guys,
which is a setup to sound like
I know. I just said it out loud, and I'm like,
get ready, stand back and stand by.
You know,
is there a sound effect for that?
I'm sure there's something. Here's the thing: is this momentum feels like it's just pushing towards something. Yeah. it's pushing towards
We're
something
purveyors of it.
And
it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. And
Dave.com told us.
And Trump is as much. I know he preaches nationalism and even a bit of isolationism, but he's smart. He's a businessman. He knows that's not how the economy works. That's not how the business world works.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be an isolationist. He wants money, and he wants America to have money. So you're going to have to do business on a global level, which means he's going to have to appease some of that globalistic thinking out there.
You don't think he already has?
Oh, absolutely. He has to.
Behind closed doors?
Yeah. There are deals being made behind closed doors that are not about us. Okay. Every single one of those people in Washington who have a stake in the game, whether they're liberal or Democrat, they all have dinner together, and they all make plans.
He's spitting bars now.
Yeah, he's
spitting bars.
This isn't about us.
Something's about to happen to us.
It's not.
We're saying too much.
Hey, listen.
If we start calling out names, look, they're sending the beekeepers to come and get us.
Oh, man! Again, I saw that movie, and I like Jason Statham, but I couldn't let my kids watch that. So, anywho, this is pushing towards something, and because here's another unique little off the wall thing. Just about every pastor I've spoken to, that I kind of roll with and talk to, you'll ask me, what are you preaching on? What are you preaching on? And I'll talk about what I'm preaching on. And would you believe that every single one of them say, for some reason or another, we're touching on persecution and hardship every single Sunday, not necessarily just intentionally, just it's coming up in discussions and talk.
Well, it's kind of the Bible.
Well, it is, but what
that is the context of the Bible.
But people can avoid that conversation real quickly, right? I mean, you can just, I'm not going to preach. I'm not going to talk about it.
If you're a mega church, you avoid most everything.
So what you're finding is the church, in many ways, is kind of being prepared, being told, I know I touch on it every Sunday. Okay. I say, look, guys, don't be surprised by this. Hey, look, this is where we're going. Doesn't matter who's in office. If this guy gets elected and he puts his hand on that Bible right there, which that would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? That he puts his hand on that Bible, and he tells you up and down that he's going to uphold the Constitution and he's going to love Jesus and do all this. It's moving toward something that I just don't. It's not going to be a good time for the church. It's going to be. What I mean by that is it's going to be an excellent time to evangelize. I think you're going to see genuine Christianity. Excited. You're going to see the genuine church grow. That you're going to see, like the way it does in China and Iran and Saudi Arabia. But these old, like I'm going to say this carefully, make America great again churches, like, well, hey, let's make them back Million More in 54 and in the 60s and the 70s. That's not happening. That's going away. That's going away. The church is going to be a little more.
Well, those folks will die off. Much longer.
The persecution is not going to help them. They're just going to be shaken. And I think that even if this guy's elected, he is not going to help the cause. And so you're putting a lot of eggs in this guy's basket, and it's just not going to go well. And the people he's appealing to with the KJV and all that, they don't make up the majority of his vote. I don't know if he knows that or not. They're a lot smaller in the church, the KJVers and the people who read the KJV. Whoever his religious advisor was probably should have said he should have went with a more current translation.
You don't tell him that if you serve him.
Yeah. Well, maybe you make a suggestion that you should. But
I think you should tell him that because actually he serves the Lord. He will bow his knee.
Right.
To the Lord.
Also includes our founding father documents. Yes, the Constitution, which I'm fighting for every single day, very hard to keep Americans protected. Also, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance are all part of this. God bless the USA Bible. And it's just very important and very important to me. I want to have a lot of people have it. You have to have it for your heart, for your soul. Many of you have never read them and don't know the liberties and rights you have as Americans and how you are being threatened to lose those rights. It's happening all the time. It's a very sad thing that's going on in our country, but we're going to get it turned around. Religion and Christianity are the biggest things missing from this country. And I truly believe that we need to bring them back, and we have to bring them back fast. I think it's one of the biggest problems we have. That's
Yeah.
why our country.
So I think you just have this kind of, again, that
We're
religion
about
and
to land the
Christianity,
plane.
and we
Thanks
need
for
to
watching, guys.
bring them back to the America, because we need them. And again, if you were to come out and say to me, look, I'm not a very religious man, but I respect Christianity. Do you know that's kind of what I like about Douglas Murray? We've read his stuff,
Yeah,
right?
the madness of crowds.
All right, so Douglas Murray is as gay as the day is long.
Trump Bible,
All
baby.
right, as gay as the day is long, but
Not
he
really.
says that he has a lot in common with, say, Christianity, in the sense that he agrees with some of its morals and virtues. But he'll come out and tell you, I'm not a Christian, and I don't necessarily roll in church every Sunday, but I do appreciate the value system, and I think it's important, and I think that we need to have it. Okay, but he's being straightforward with you.
Sure.
He's not hiding anything, so you can sit there and have a conversation with him, and have a degree of transparency, to which he would say, well, I disagree on the sexuality issue, but I definitely can hold on this. What it bothers me about Donald Trump is that he is trying to identify as, and kind of put this facade up of who he is, when in fact it's not. Again, he goes, your sneaker analogy is perfect.
Yeah.
It fits here. It's the same thing.
The shoe
And so
fits.
that's good. That's good. So the way forward, right? What do we do as a church now? I don't think many people are going to listen to our way forward on this.
Well, we've got more people watching this show and giving comments. Listen to what Pastor Doug Morrow says. You made a good point.
Oh,
In fact, that he overestimated the KJV audience reveals a lack of awareness of real Christianity, even in America.
yeah. I just thought that was interesting, and other people pointed that out too. I think if you listen to some of the things going on.
So let's do this. We're going to do our takeaways for today. This is the way forward. We're coming back in just a moment, like literally in 9 seconds. And we're going to give takeaways for this show, if I can find the button.
Government officials insist that
Okay, I'm coming in first on this one. Takeaways for the church and how we move forward with these kind of things in mind. I think it's important for us always to remember that what we are talking to people about is about Jesus. And the early church wrestled with all of these conspiracies, philosophies, and things that were vying for the church's attention to say it's Jesus plus this, right? It's Jesus and this, right? As a formula for salvation. And the church had to work extremely hard to break away from those things that were Old Testament law that were being included in. You look at Acts chapter 15, the Jerusalem Council, Gnosticism, Docetism, and we don't need to get too far down the line on that, but heresies that threaten the credibility of the church and the validity and truth claims of the church. I think here again today, although it's not cloaked in any type of philosophy of our day, it is cloaked now, I believe, in the powers that be in our day and the political forces of our day, those things that are wrestling against the Jesus, the sola scriptura, the Jesus of the Bible, the Jesus only in reference to our salvation and our deliverance. And so I think the way forward for the church is to continue to maintain, to grow in the grace and knowledge of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, to continue to proclaim to the world that which is the only way of salvation, Jesus, the way, the truth, and the life. And let all other means be a subcategory of faithful living. How one votes, how one lives, all those things is a subset of how we live out our faith in the context that God puts us in, but never, ever, ever, ever to be a replacement for, a substitute for, or on par with Jesus as our Savior. And so I think the church has a danger to defend against, even in the form of someone in whom many conservatives like Donald Trump and the things that he does. I think there's a danger that's laden there that we should be aware of, and that as a church we need to continue to encourage our brothers and sisters and friends, family members who are in Christ, to follow Christ and in Him alone.
That's good. I think the church needs to be careful what it wishes for. The people wanted Saul. Saul was their man. And Saul was nice and tall and a warrior type. And Saul was gifted, and he got some things done, and he appealed. The thing that Saul lacked, though, was genuine devotion to the Lord.
Wow.
And he would not do the Lord's things. So no matter how successful Saul could appear, he was losing the favor of the Lord because he really wasn't God's man. He was the people's man. And God will give you, in that sense, what you want. And he did. And it turned out bad for Saul, and it turned out bad for Israel. It wasn't until God installed his man, David, and David looked nothing like Saul. And David was nothing like Saul. And here we've had other candidates that appeared to be more in line with Orthodox Christianity and have a more sincere, at least appearance of things, more consistent. And we have rejected them, which says more about us than it does about Donald Trump even, right?
Oh, that's good.
And so what I'm afraid of is the church is so closely tied to this man that you're going to get what you ask for, and what you ask for is not the favor of God, and it's not God's blessing, that you think it's going to turn out poorly. And no matter what, repentance is on the horizon. And so I would just call the church to be very, very careful about aligning themselves so closely to a man who lacks the character that Christ calls leaders to have, or just basic Christianity. Mm-hmm. And that I would really seek the Lord's will here. And you almost got to wonder if we're being carried off into Babylon, so to speak, by this, and to surrender to God's will, and to be faithful in proclaiming Jesus Christ as King and Lord. And that means he has to be king over the words you say, the thoughts you think, and the things you do. And that's what we should expect from Donald Trump, because that's what we expect from any believer. And so pray for that man, obviously, that God would call him. Don't make too many assumptions about that man, and be very careful about what you wish for, because it could be, it's likely not going to go well.
Yeah, that's critical there. I love what you said. It says more about us than it says about him.
That's right. That's
wow.
right.
That's good. Way Forward Show, we do this every week. Tune in next week. We'll have another banging broadcast. We probably won't be together. This is unique.
It's sad, isn't it? This is kind of fun.
It is fun. There's a certain energy.
Energy's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But we'll bring you guys some great substantive conversations next week. The Way Forward Show. You guys can chew on this, digest it, cut it up, send it to your friends. And keep the conversation alive and keep the conversation going. God bless you guys. Way Forward.
Government officials insist